ZTE, whose brazen disregard for our laws was as insulting as it was dangerous. ZTE's most senior managers lied to, obstructed, and misled investigators for years.
That was U.S. Commerce Secretary Wilbur Ross blasting Chinese telecom giant ZTE. His department just slapped crippling sanctions on the company last month. So why then is President Trump now throwing a lifeline to that very same company? Let's make Paris respond to that first. Honestly, first and foremost, Donald Trump ran very successfully and promised to bring jobs back to the United States. Why is he now running on bringing jobs back to China?
Well, I think, early in my political science courses, they always talk about politics is about ducking the issue and compromise. And we know politicians and White Houses can duck issues. We also know that part of the deal is compromise. And I think this could be seen as some type of compromise with leveraging it with the Chinese president, because he knows he has great weight in North Korea. And the thing about the job situation, there could be some American jobs that are connected to ZTE in terms of affiliates. So there could be a claim that there are some American jobs connected to ZTE, which the president would be putting America first.
But if it was just blatantly a bargaining chip, then maybe that's what it is. Why not just say it? I mean, it's not like he holds back and giving us innermost thoughts.
This isn't the first time, and I can guarantee it won't be the last time the president has said something to the very far extreme, and then he walks it back once he either gets all the facts or...
I'm sorry, do you want me to give you the list of things that I put together with that? We're getting out of TPP, and we're going to actually see if we can get back in. Steel and aluminum tariffs on everybody, except now basically everyone gets an exemption. Build the wall and make Mexico pay for it. Well, now we're just going to start the wall and Congress is going to pay for it. Rex Tillerson, don't waste your time talking to North Korea. And Donald Trump is sitting down with North Korea next month. Continue.
Yes, well, thank you very much for outlining that for me. But here's the thing. Unfortunately, there's the economic component dealing with ZTE and the security component with regard to spying.
That part's the crazy part.
Exactly. So I think there's a lot of focus on the economic aspect and this hurting jobs, but China is taking American jobs. I think more of serious concern is the national security component. And I believe it's smart to probably throw out some kind of lifeline in advance of these talks we're having with them. However, I expect to be walked back, given more for the national security component.
It's not just wild to hear Donald Trump say he wants to create jobs in China. It's wild for any American president to say, let's create jobs.
Make China great again. I mean, it's another example of just pure bluster on the part of this president. So, I mean, you talk about something like Carrier. If you talk about something like China, okay, now we're protecting Chinese jobs when our entire campaign ethos, our entire branding is about American jobs and how bad China is. He talked about China as a currency manipulator. He talked about Chinese flooding our market with cheap imports. He talked about protecting American jobs. And then I'm sure what happened was he got a phone call from the president of China. And since it's the last person he spoke to, as in all decisions, he just simply switched his mind, changed his mind on what he wants to do. But I think it shows you again and again the degree to which the president is, and most of his rhetoric, it's bluster. And if you look at what he actually does versus what he says, it's night and day.
Can you decipher the strategy here?
It did make me wonder who was the last person to walk into the Oval Office and brief him on this, because this move against ZTE did start under the Obama administration, so maybe it was cast to him as some sort of holdover move. But once the intelligence community gets their time in the Oval Office, they will explain to him that both ZTE and Huawei are suspected of sharing everything from proprietary information to possibly what they're able to collect on their communications devices, which is why every single U.S. intelligence chief said they would not use a device made by ZTE.
And the White House being asked to explain, they said, what he really meant to say is that he just wants Wilbur Ross to exercise his independent judgment with regard to all of this.
It's under review.
Or that as well. When again can we start taking the president at his word, literally and seriously? We can talk about that next. Thanks, everybody. Great to see you. This is day 480 of President Trump's administration, and it's also 176 days until the midterm elections. That's the state of America tonight. We'll see you back here tomorrow.